Hey guys, King of Charmander here. For once, the strongest and most iconic Stage 2 evolution in all of Pokemon, and its card is expensive as hell, is top tier meta for a cup. When I first saw Love Cup and I saw pink and red, I thought about Charizard and I was like, please let us use it. The thing is, Charizard is actually the strongest lead overall in the Love Cup, and I'm really excited to analyze this one. So we got Charizard here. Obviously, the best Stage 2 evolution of all time. There is no objection whatsoever. Just kidding. There are plenty of others that I like, but I'm the king of Charmanders, and Charizard's my boy, and it's bae. As you see here, it's fire and flying. Now, for the thing is that makes it really difficult for the Love Cup is you actually need a double legacy one. Well, you need the computer to move Blast Bird, and you need a wing attack one. So if you don't have a wing attack Zard, and you might want to consider using that Elite TM, because you want to know something? It is insanely powerful for the Love Cup. As you see here, very high attack, about equal defense and stamina, but basically it is a very versatile mod because it has such a powerful and diverse move pool. Unfortunately, it's also very expensive because, like I mentioned, you need to use Elite TMs because, yeah. But as you see here, Charizard is very powerful against the Love Cup meta. It is weak to Electric, Rock, and Water. Unfortunately, Electric for Electrode and Alola is Water. However, as long as you avoid those two, it still is very powerful, and you could kind of like nuke things with Blast Burn, so if you match the Blast Burn something, it's going to hurt a lot. As you see here, you resist a ton of things with Fire and Flying. Bug, Grass, Fairy, Fighting, Fire, Ground, and Steel. These are all, except with the exception like Steel types, you can actually see like Fighting and Fairy. It resists a lot of archetypes. So Charmers don't do well against it. Also resist the fighters. You can see Grass and Bug as well. It is a great mon overall for the Love Cup, especially as the lead, because in the lead you basically take down the Charmer 2 shield strat, and if you see a fighter or anything like that, you are very well versed if you have wing attack. Now, as I mentioned here, it's kind of expensive because wing attack is a legacy move. So is Blast Burn. Blast Burn is a community move. So if you want a Charizard for the Love Cup, it needs to both have wing attack and Blast Burn. So it's very expensive per se. Here's PPoke.com rankings, and as you see here, Charizard ranks at number 4 overall. One of the strongest, basically the strongest lead in the Love Cup, and it is the anti-tap tapper of the Love Cup meta. Meaning, you take out Charmers, and you take out the Shadow Razor Leafer / regular Razor Leafer, which is Vileplume. You also take out Medicham XL, so you take out fighters as well. Now, you do lose against Crafty and the Wands. You also lose against Alola and Electrode. These two mons are Alola is hard to find. Electrode you might see from the Kanto Cup, so you might see Electrode. However, Charizard is still very insanely powerful, and if you can land a Blast Burn on an Electrode, it sucks. Alola is probably going to be your biggest problem just because it is so bulky that it can survive basically a ton of things you throw at it. Now, as you see here in the lead, Charizard is incredibly powerful in the lead. It is the best lead in the Love Cup. Being able to take out what I mentioned before. It's also very powerful as a closer and as a switch. Now, I wouldn't use it as a safe switch, because if you safe switch into a Alola or an Electrode, it's going to really suck. Charizard, however, is still a very powerful closer. As you see here, Wing Attack Zard is still number top 10. It takes out Medicham, takes out Wigglytuff, Scrafty, Clefable, and even Blaziken. Yes, you can take out other fighters, well, Blaziken in general, just because of Wing Attack. You're still going to lose to a little more Electrode, so you should be aware of the water types and the electric types. Basically, anything that beats water and flying, you want to avoid with Charizard. However, it is still able to take out the Tap teams, which is Wigglytuff, Clefable, and it's able to take out Shadow Vileplume. As a switch, Charizard ranks at number 8. As you see, it's top 10 in all positions. Now, as a switch, you can even take out Electrode. So there is a point where you can take out Electrode. I'm not sure if this is really hard on. Like, you beat it hard. However, you will see we'll see in the Matrix just how much Charizard is able to take out. Being able to take out Electrode is still pretty huge, because other than that, as you see here, you basically lose to water types and a smackdown Crystal. Alright guys, here's the ppoke.com rankings. As I always say, please consider donating ppoke.com. Now we have both versions of Charizard. I have the Wing Attack one and the Blast Burn one, and we have the regular Fire Spin one. Just in case you are curious that, hey, the Fire Spin one, can I run it? And we're going to find out. So as you see here, I have the 2 shields, and we're going to run it. We're going to run the 2 shield right here. These are the 2 variations. I wouldn't you could probably run Overheat, but I would definitely recommend Blast Burn. Just because if you get locked in a Alomomola, you're probably not going to get to an Overheat because it's going to kill you. Same thing with Electro. Here's the 2 shield. As you see in the 2 shields, Charizard is the strongest in the lead. It's also very powerful to switch to closer. However, as you see here, if you have Wing Attack Zard, you beat Charizard Mirror. If you don't have it, it's a simultaneous knockout, and it's IV dependent or who wins CMP. Now, of course, with the Wing Attack version, you're going to have to watch out because it's going to be a simultaneous knockout, or like I said, whoever wins CMP. With Alomomola, you die really hard to Alomomola. Do not try to bully your way through Alomomola. You see this thing, you switch. It's that simple. Alomomola pretty much walls you, which really sucks. But as you see here, Alomomola is very, very powerful, so just run. Now, in the 2 shield, here's what sucks. In the 2 shield, you actually lose to Charmers. So as you see here, you're gonna lose in the 2 shield because Clefable basically Clefable and Wigglytuff resist Dragon Claw. However, if you are able to Blast Burn, say you shield, but instead of this, you don't do Dragon Claw, you land Blast Burn. So if you land a Blast Burn, oh, not right there. Oops. Okay, right here. Yeah, there you go. Oh wait, hold on. Don't. I set it to where don't. There. Okay, you do that. You do the Wing Attack. You see this? Instead of Wing Attack, go Blast Burn. You go Blast Burn. If you land the Blast Burn, you do 103 damage. So you have to land a Blast Burn to take the Charmer matchup. So build to a Blast Burn and try to get through it. Like, just try to Blast Burn it to death, because in a 2 shield, unfortunately, you will lose Charmers. You will also lose to Crustle just because of Rock Slide. Now, the thing about Crustle is the Fury Cutter is the recommended moveset. If it's a Smackdown one, get out of here, because this is what happens. As you see here, with X Scissor, if you don't call the Rock Slide, you will lose. Rock Slide does 4 times effective, so you're going to basically, it's gonna hurt a lot, okay? Now, if you call the X Scissor, it only does 16 damage. However, if you shield the Rock Slide, so shield the Rock Slide, as you see here, if you shield the Rock Slide, Charizard wins. So you have to shield the Rock Slide. You can take an X Scissor, you can even go straight Dragon Claw. However, you have to shield the Rock Slide. You don't shield the Rock Slide, you lose. It's that simple with the Crustle now. So this is a bait-dependent matchup. Clefable is also a bait-dependent matchup. Well, you just blast through the shields. With Electrode, for Electrode, you have to Blast Burn it. So as you see, if you land the Blast Burn and they don't shield Blast Burn, if they don't shield Blast Burn, here's what happens. You don't shield Blast Burn, you win. As you see, it does 92 damage. So as long as you can hit a Blast Burn, you can win. Same thing. So basically, what makes Charizard so strong, unless you're facing a Water type, as you see here, or you're facing a Charm with 2 shields, you land the Blast Burn, you can take back the match. And it's very hard. It's very, like, if they don't shield, it's gonna suck. So as you see here, as you see, like, if you go straight Dragon Claw, it doesn't work. If you land a Blast Burn, so if you land a Blast Burn, here's what happens. So if you land a Blast Burn, you take out Sandbox mode. If you land a Blast Burn, here's what happens. You do 154 damage. So plus the Wing Attack damage, you should be able to take out Wigglytuff depending on a certain range. So as you see here, that's what makes Charizard so good. In a 2 shield, unless it's a Water typing, if you can land a Blast Burn, you basically take out that match. And you're going to break shields anyways because it threatens so much. So Charizard's Blast Burn will threaten a lot. So that's what makes it so strong in the lead. You threaten with Blast Burn, and if you land the Blast Burn, you can flip a matchup. Unless, like I said, it's the Water types, because the Water types do resist. You're not gonna take it back against the Water type. As you see here, you won't get to a Blast Burn, and it'll just take you out. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. In the 1 shield, if you go to the 1 shield, things get a little better. As you see here, in the 1 shield, you are able, if you have Wing Attack Zard, If you, in the one shield, if you have Wing Attack Zard, it's a, like, simultaneous knockout. You lose against the Fire Spin one with Wing Attack Zard, just because, here's what happens. As you see here, well, it's actually, like, a bait-dependent matchup. So, as long as you shield the Blast Burn, you win. So, as you see, it's a bait-dependent matchup. Like, whoever grabs the shield wins, basically. So, against Charizard, it's a bait-dependent matchup. In the one shield, things get a little iffy. You have to call baits. So, against Lickitung, as you see here, the beating of the two shield. In the one shield, unfortunately, it doesn't, yeah. Unfortunately, in the one shield, you will lose against Lickitung by 1 HP. So, this is very, very, very IV dependent. If they have a good Lickitung, it's probably good. If they have a bad Lickitung, you probably can beat it. But as you see here, you win against in the one shield, you win against Charmers convincingly, you also win against Shadow Razor Leaf. And you win against Medicham as well as Slowbro. So Slowbro, you can take Slowbro as long as you're able to bait. So in the one shield, as long as you're able to hit a Blast Burst, well, actually, you can just straight Dragon Claw against Slowbro. Against Scrafty, unfortunately, as long as you don't get pupped, so here's the thing, you take the pup. So as long as you shield the foul play, you will be okay. So shield the foul play, Charizard wins. So as long as you shield the foul play, you win. So call the pup bait, and you win. That's basically what happens. So as long as you call the pup bait, you win. That's what makes Charizard kind of difficult, is that it does require you to kind of be like a little, like you have to be a little ballsy because you have to land Blast Burn. But as you see here, you're either going to threaten shields or you're going to deal heavy damage and take switch anyways. Again, your only hard loss is to water, which is a Alomola. However, you could flip Slowbro in the ones. In the zeros is Charizard's second best position. As you see here, in the zero shield, well, in the zero shield, you basically take out both Charmers, as you see here. Crustle wrecks you with Rock Slide, unfortunately, so does Electrode. The no shield is dangerous if they have energy advantage, because they're going, like, Discharge hurts really hard, Rock Slide will KO you, and Alolomola's waterfalls just suck. So it's going to hurt a lot. But you still convincingly beat fighters. You also beat Wigglytuff, Shadow Victory Belt, and Clefable, as well as Sunny Chirp. So it's still very dangerous. Again, if you land a Blast Burn against a lot of things, you're going to deal heavy damage, except for the water types. The water types are what your biggest concern are. Avoid water types at all costs. In the 1-0s, basically the only thing in the 1-0s, you only lose to Alomola just because it's so thick. Other than that, you beat the rest of the meta, including Lickitung, which I don't know why its ratings like this, but as you see here, if you're the 1-0s or the 2-0s, or you have shield advantage, you beat Lickitung. In the 2-0s, unfortunately, Alomola will still beat you, but you beat the rest of the meta. So in the 2-0, Charizard is very, very powerful. With shield advantage, as you see in 2-1, so if you're in the 2-1 scenario, it's basically the same thing. You can beat the entire meta as long as you have Wing Attack. As you see, Fire Spin doesn't have too much of a difference. However, in this scenario, as you see with shield advantage, you can flip the Slowbro matchup if you have Wing Attack going straight Dragon Claw. As you see here, you just go straight Dragon Claw. So you can beat Slowbro straight Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, Fire Spin does not. So Wing Attack is preferred. You can use Fire Spin, however, I'd be careful because water types will give you a very hard time. And you lose the Slowbro matchup. Alright, so if I had to give Charizard a rating, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, 8 out of 10. Unfortunately, as much as I want to give it a 9, the problem with Charizard is that in the 2-shield scenario, yes, it's the strongest lead overall. However, here's what happens. You still lose against a lot of things. Smackdown Pokemon end your life, and water Pokemon do heavy damage against you. Electrode also does heavy damage to you, and then another thing is you actually lose to Charmers as well. Charizard will lose to 2-shield Charmer strats. However, you will take, as long as you see here, if you look at the sim, you'll take both their shields, but this is a perfect world. Now, this is why Charizard still ranks very high. If you land a Blast Burn, so if you actually land a Blast Burn through here, and they don't shield it, you could actually take switch. So Charizard does so much damage that if it's not a water type and you land a Blast Burn, you can take back switch. You're essentially going to nuke them on and take switch. As you see here, if this is not shielded, Charizard wins. So that's what makes Charizard so powerful. Charizard will take shields or it will give you switch. If your opponent is unfortunate enough to get blast burned, it does heavy damage to everything but water types. That's what makes Charizard so good. It puts an insane amount of shield pressure on your opponent, and it also, minus the 2 shield, if you can get into the 1 shield, or if you can get shield advantage, Charizard goes to town and does a lot of damage. Can even go straight Dragon Claw against things like Slowbro. So that's what makes Charizard so good. Unfortunately, that's just the thing. Charizard does force you to be a little bait dependent, because you kind of have to be really gutsy and blast through shields. If you're unsuccessful, but you'll still take shields. So Charizard will give you shields, or it will possibly, in most scenarios, actually give you switch if you're able to land a blast burn. The second thing about Charizard that limits it, unfortunately, Charizard is pretty glassy. That's why if you see a SmackDown user like a Dwebble or a Crustle, you should probably get out of there. As you see, Mad Cargo just ends your life if you're able in the 2 shield. It only takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rock throws to take you out. So Mad Cargo, very, very powerful. So that's what makes Charizard. It's double weak to rock, and even though their rock isn't going to be super prominent in this meta, if they are able to chuck rocks at you, it's not going to be a good time, because most likely you will get one shot, or accumulation of rock throw or SmackDown will take you out. So that's the problem. Other than that, Charizard is insanely powerful. Like I said, it will put heavy shield pressure on your opponent, and if your opponent can't shield a blast burn, it will likely KO at most ranges. As much as I love my boy Charizard, this is an unbiased analysis. It's still very good in most scenarios. However, it's too baity for my taste in the Love Cup. It's still the most powerful league factually, and like I mentioned, with that heavy shield pressure and the ability to take switch, it's still an incredibly powerful mon for the Love Cup. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'll be doing more Love Cup stuff. Good luck on your Bio League sets, and I will see you on the next video.